Conversations with Nicole. Let's talk about it. Tell me all about it. I'm here. I wanna know what's on your mind. Ooh, the world needs to hear from you, and I'm so glad to have a conversation to reach the nation. And it's all about you. We'll help each other to discover innovative ways to positively change the world. Let's talk about, let's talk about, let's talk about conversations with Nicole.
Greetings. Welcome to Conversations with Nicole. I am Nicole Everett, your host. And Conversations with Nicole is a talk show based in Tallahassee, Florida, focused on connecting the community through conversations. And today is Mindset Monday. It's also Memorial Day, so happy Memorial Day. Today, we are talking about disaster preparedness. We are in Tallahassee, Florida, as I stated. And hurricane season starts June 1 and ends November 30th. So we try to make sure we are prepared. We are prepared as much as we possibly can be. As many of the folks here in Tallahassee know, disaster can strike at any moment. It does not have to necessarily be hurricane season. On January, I believe it was the 23rd of January, we had snow in Tallahassee. Now, it wasn't necessarily a disaster, but it could lead to some issues, especially if you're not used to dealing with snow. But on May 10th of last year, Tallahassee had tornadoes. And I think that is very, how can I say, unpredictable. And so while you can't predict a hurricane as well, but tornadoes can come upon you in a moment's notice. So anyway, I don't want to get too wrapped up in all of that, but I think the thing that I learned from that tornado experience is to be prepared. And when I say be prepared, yes, you can't really prepare for a tornado, but having and I know we're going to talk about this with my guest, my very special guest, Karen Miller, the CEO of Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, but have your bucket together, have your plan together, have all of that stuff together so you can, if you need to evacuate, just grab it at a moment's notice. Anyway, we're going to get into all that in just a little bit. But before I bring Karen on, I want to hear from you. Where are you tuning in from? We are live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on LinkedIn. And this is an interactive live. Your comments, your questions are very much so welcome. So please tag a friend and let them know they need to be on here and asking the questions and all the things. I see a few of you have chimed in already. Mr. Dante Bonner. Hey, friend. Hope you enjoyed your weekend. Dante, yes, I did. I was in Jacksonville at the Jazz Festival, and it was absolutely fantastic. I got some R&R, which was very much so needed. So I'm ready to take on the world for the rest of this week. So thank you for joining us. And Dante will be on live with me soon. Miss Sharice Du Bois, who is in Atlanta, GA. Happy Memorial Day. Thank you for joining us, Sharice. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. All right. I'm going to go ahead and share some of Karen's bio. Karen is a native Floridian, originally from Orlando, moved to Tallahassee in 2008, has had a span of a 30-year career working with at-risk youth and their families. For 19 of those 30, she was director of the Osceola Children's Home, where she worked specifically with victims of abuse and neglect. She started working with the Tallahassee Lenders Consortium as a second career. She is the Chief Executive Officer responsible for the nonprofit that provides homebuyer education, financial literacy, one-on-one credit counseling, reverse mortgage and foreclosure prevention counseling, and the development of single-family homes and townhomes. TLC has moved into affordable multi-rental and also serving as the City of Tallahassee and Leon County's community land trust. Outside of TLC, Karen is involved in her church, Paul Russell Road Church of Christ, her sorority, Delta Kappa Omega Chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and continues her volunteer services as the executive director of the DKO Foundation, where services are provided to the Tallahassee community. She is no stranger to conversations with Nicole, so y'all help me welcome Miss Karen Miller. Yay!
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome, welcome, welcome. How you doing?
I am doing just great. Just, a little tired because we're planning all these activities coming up, but I feel good. Feel
Good,
good.
good, good. Love to hear that. So tell the people, who is Karen Miller? Not what you do, but who are you?
Uh, I'm just very passionate about serving. I love to take my family says you take care of everybody but yourself. But
Mhm.
I enjoy serving those that are in the community and trying to help others where I can.
Love it, love it. And you do that very well. So, for those who may not be familiar with TLC, Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, if you'll just give a little bit of a background and mention the upcoming event that TLC is involved with the American Red Cross.
Okay. TLC is a nonprofit agency here in Tallahassee, Florida, but we serve the Big Bend area. So you're talking about Wakulla, Jefferson, and Gaston counties as well. And we work to help people become homeowners, first time homeowners, and we do have some programs for second time homeowners. We are the city and the county's community land trust, but our goal is to educate everyone about the home buying process so it won't be so hard for them. And so coming up, one of the things that we have is a disaster preparedness forum. And the theme of the forum is know the risk, make your plan. And the goal is to help prepare everyone in our community for any type of disaster that might happen. We understand that we're coming up on hurricane season, June the 1st. However, I think sometimes we forget that we run into little disasters and sometimes larger disasters all the time. So we want to help those in leadership positions to become knowledgeable of how they can help others in the community as well.
Love that. All right. So they have a disaster preparedness forum, and that's on Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is required. They have about 15 slots available. Free, 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 free continental breakfast and lunch. And you'll get a disaster backpack at the end of the forum. So definitely don't want to miss that. Yes. All right. So Dante's chimed in. She is a light and an angel. Oh,
Oh,
oh, how sweet.
thank you, Dante.
So kind. All right. And mom is here. Mom sends greetings. Thank you, mom, down in Miami.
Hello.
So much, so much, so much. So, we talked about, or you mentioned, just as you said, disasters can happen at any time, and so, I'm super curious around, some of the ways that we can prepare for disasters since they are so unpredictable, right?
That's absolutely correct, Nicole. Um, a lot of times we've been participating with the city of Tallahassee in their current hurricane prep classes that they have. They start out with one specifically for neighborhood leaders, and then they move into the three that they have that are open to the community. And
Okay.
so they bring in experts in the field with reference to hurricanes, tornadoes. But
Mm-hmm.
what we did with this forum was we expanded the disasters a little bit. So we're looking at fire. We actually are looking at the Division of Forestry
Okay.
participating with us. We're looking at insurance. We realize that insurance, it impacts all of us. You
Mhm.
know, when you're looking at whatever disaster, how much do you insure your home for? What is replacement coverage?
That's
And then afterwards, how do you make a claim?
Mhm.
So we have bought an insurance agent in to be with us as well.
Okay.
So we want to give as much information on how to prepare people for any type of disaster that might happen.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. Again, those disasters can be pretty unpredictable. And you're right. You know, when you are maybe in the midst of something going on, something unpredictable happening, you want to have those numbers together, you know, to call, those policy numbers, all of those types of things together so that you can, you know, talk intelligently about what your claim might be, and so they'll know who you are and what you represent. So yeah, I think that's great that you're expanding to talk about fire and talk about, you know, the insurance aspect of it.
And let me just say,
Mhm.
we're also including some active shooter training.
Mm,
You know, we had the recent incident. However, I think that we need to remember there was a shooting in Cascade Park
mm,
the early hours of this morning here.
wow.
We hear about shootings, but suppose we are around when those shootings happen.
Mm,
What do we do to keep ourselves safe?
good
So
question.
the Tallahassee Police Department, Detective Weiss is going to be coming in to speak with us, that it will help us not just when there is the category that we call active shooter, but
Mhm.
when there is a shooting, how we can prepare ourselves. Um,
That's
we,
good. That's good.
yeah,
I think that's, you know, again, another one that it's a more recent phenomena. I believe I do recall being in the public sector and them having like actor shooter drills,
mhm.
which uh, and that's been probably within the last decade or so. But since we are seeing that more and more, you know, we're having to prepare for those types of things. And this recent incident at Florida State University is definitely a reminder of that.
You
Mhm.
know what's interesting about this? You asked me a little bit earlier, how did I get involved in all of this?
Mhm.
And let me just tell you, I think a little bit out of fear more than anything.
I got you.
Back in 2004, um, I was living in Central Florida.
Mhm.
And at that time, there was a hurricane called Charlie.
Mm,
And there were like 3 or 4 hurricanes that were back to back. And
mm.
I think it was Charlie, it was Francis, Ivan, and Jean.
Wow.
And I remember when Charlie came through, I was living in a 3-bedroom home,
Mhm.
and we had sliding glass doors. And I
Mhm.
remember when the storm was coming through, I thought the doors were going to explode
Wow.
inside my house
Oh wow.
because I could see the glass just coming toward us.
Mm,
And the next day, I know that I experienced post traumatic stress
mhm.
syndrome. I couldn't move. All I could do is sit on our sofa. The door was open and I could see everybody else trying to clean up. And
Mm,
I couldn't do anything because it had struck me so emotionally.
yeah.
So I don't know that that made me prepare even more. But then in my first career as the director of the children's home,
Mhm.
having to evacuate children
Mm,
during the time of a hurricane, or I think in 1998, there was another tornado that hit in Kissimmee.
oh, wow.
And what I remember about that was that a young baby was found in a tree.
Oh, my.
Yeah. And then a personal disaster was I lived in a condo and my home caught on fire.
Oh, wow. Sorry
Yeah.
for that.
So in my lifetime, I've experienced these things,
Yeah.
and I know how important it is to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I think I've just come full circle to try to help others be prepared when we know that anything can happen to us at any time.
Absolutely, absolutely. I want to pause right here. Miss Donda has joined us, who is here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here. So I want to get the viewers involved. I'm curious about you all and your disaster plan. Do you have a disaster plan in place in terms of maybe a bin that you keep some things that you can grab quickly, maybe even a checklist. I actually did a segment on Michael Cork's morning show today about how to prepare for natural disasters as a segue to get folks prepared for today's show. But it talked about having, these physical preparations in place, like a go kit is what it called. And it was an article that I got from Psychology Today. But it talked about having this go kit of non perishable clothes, prescriptions, documents. And I even added to it saying, okay, so maybe you can't have your prescriptions in the go kit because you use them every day, but maybe have a list of the things that you use regularly next to your go kit so that you can grab those things and put them in your go kit as you prepare to get out the door to try to, evacuate from disaster. So anybody have a go kit already assembled, or anybody planning on putting together a go kit? If you don't have one, let us know. Let us know. I'm curious. Let us know. Miss Tracy Golay has joined us, who's also here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here, Tracy. All right. So folks are thinking about a go kit, maybe. All right, and that's fine. I don't have one either. So, but I need to work on that. And hopefully, at this disaster forum, you'll find out about this about the go kit that you need to have, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm excited because at the end of the day, the participants from the forum will receive we're calling ours a disaster backpack.
Okay.
And it's going to be full of supplies that
Okay.
you can use. And it's going to be enough room where you can add some other items because we're going to give you the checklist also.
Okay, good. We need the checklist.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice.
I know, Nicole, when I think of the Go Kit, a couple of years ago when Michael came through
Mhm.
at TLC, we devised a disaster bag for our staff
Oh, nice.
because one of the things that's important, even at work, you have to know what to do. Suppose your building is destroyed, or we want you to be careful about what happens at work, but we want you to be caring for your family at the same time. And
Right.
sometimes that's a little hard. I know last year when the hurricanes were coming through and they were category 5,
Mhm.
I was going back and forth. Should we evacuate? Should we not? Should we evacuate? Should we not? And then I kept saying, but I'm so responsible for TLC. I got staff, I got houses, I got homeowners in houses. And I started feeling such a level of responsibility. I
Mhm.
kept thinking, I can't leave them. I can't leave them. And
Mhm.
so these are the kinds of things that we go through emotionally. So when you talked about in Psychology Today, I understand that.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm just sharing. This is my Michael Cork morning show notebook right here. But it was quick and dirty. It talked about the first thing, and I'm gonna suggest this to everybody that's listening, either live or later on, is that we have to overcome the avoidance mindset. And as I'm talking to
Mhm.
y'all, I'm talking to myself too, okay? And this avoided mindset is that we think about or may try to conceptualize the amount of devastation and destruction that can occur, but sometimes it's difficult to conceptualize it. So we avoid thinking about it, right?
Absolutely.
So we avoid thinking about it and preparing for it. And we tell ourselves, oh, we'll try to deal with it when we have time. Well, as we have already stated, disasters are happening all the time. And typically, we don't have time. So while you have time now, get it together. All right, so let me pause. A few more folks have joined us. My cousin Fred, who's in San Antonio. Thank you for being here. Donda, she said, I'm forever thinking about my seniors and oftentimes fail to get one for myself. Yes, I definitely can relate to that. But Donda, we're going to commit to doing it before the end of June. Let's plan for June 15th. We're going to have our kits together by June 15th. All right. Shanda Robinson, planning on putting it together. Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Mom, I don't. I need everything. Help a sister out. Information down here. All right, we got you, Mom. We're gonna get you this.
Tell her we got her back.
We got you, Mom. We got you. All right, Donda, how many go packs per person? Is it possible to get kits for seniors? And when she says seniors, she's talking about senior citizens because she cares for elders who can't come to get one.
Let me just say, one of the things that we do is we prepare a smaller, much version of a prep pack that we hand out at our outreach activities that we have. We're going to be having a couple of outreach activities in the next month. We always hang out at What Women Want with Cumulus Radio. And then we're going to have our backyard barbecue that you'll hear a little bit more about on Conversations with Nicole. And we'll be handing out some mini packs out. That's a great idea when she's talking about seniors. That's one of the reasons this forum was originally directed at our neighborhood and homeowner leaders, because we wanted them to know everybody in their neighborhood and to assist in seeing that they got all of the things that they needed to prepare for a storm. One of the things we're going to talk about next Saturday is going to be sheltering. Do some of these seniors that Donda is talking about, do they need to get to a shelter? And they will be we can give that information out. Now, on the south side of Tallahassee, at Gaither Center, the community center, this Thursday, the city is having one of their prep. And they're going to be handing out buckets. And that's open to the entire community, but they've divided it by the areas. And this is for the south side. And I think the doors open at 5:30 at the Gaither Community Center.
And that's this Thursday?
This Thursday.
Okay.
That's the 29th, right?
Yes.
That's it.
All right. So folks is it a drive-by or?
No, they come in because they're going to be giving information out about the storms, what to anticipate this storm season. They're going to also talk about the kits and the checklist. They're going to talk about food that you need to eat too. So a lot of the information and the experts that will be there will be with us on Saturday as well. We're just going to expand the disaster from just the hurricanes and the tornadoes. So they will hear a little bit of some of the same information.
Got it.
But they will have those buckets there that will have some supplies in them for them rather.
All right. So Southside, Thursday, May 29th, 5:30 p.m., Jake Gate, the Community Center.
Yes.
All right. So Donda, that's what we can get those kits for the seniors who can't come out and get one. All right. So Dante said procrastination, me, and people think it won't happen to me. Absolutely, Dante. But we're here to tell you it absolutely can happen to you. So we gotta get together. So Donda, she is co-signing June 15th. So Dante, I want you on the June 15th train as well of getting your kit together. All right. We're gonna get you the list and you're gonna get that kit going. All right, Dr. Monica just joined us. Good evening, all. Thanks for this. You're welcome. Thank you for being here, Dr. Monica. All right. And she said, I have that information if shelter is needed. Yes. Wonderful.
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
As a
Yep.
matter of fact, she can call the American Red Cross and they will be able to give them information about shelters, especially for persons with disabilities or
Okay.
illnesses.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I know there are special shelters for
Yes.
folks with disabilities or special needs. So, um, they definitely, and I know this having worked at the health department. So I know that as health workers and that sort of thing, where some of those special shelters are. So they definitely can give you that information more specifically.
And what people have to remember is if they're in need of the specialty shelters, they need to register. And
Yes.
so all of this information is going to be coming out to the community. That's why it's so important that we listen
Mm,
when we have those noticed
yes.
disasters. Listen to the directions that are given to us by law enforcement.
Mhm.
We definitely by consolidated dispatch.
Yes.
Leon County has someone. I want to thank, Leon County Director of Emergency Management is Kevin Peters. The
Hmm.
city of Tallahassee is Brian Bradshaw. All information will be coming over the news, weather radios, and we just need to listen as much as possible and adhere to the information that we're receiving.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, um, a lot of information out here. So we definitely want to keep folks informed and aware of what's happening. So Miss Jeanette, who's down in Miami Gardens, just joined us. Thank you for being here, Miss Jeanette. We're talking disaster preparedness. And encouraging folks to have a disaster preparedness plan and a kit. And that plan could also include having folks that you notify about any movement, about what's going on, checking in, folks that you check in on, they check in on you, especially if you are single, you don't have any family in your area. So there are a number of things that can make up this plan. Maybe a safe space that you go to if disaster does strike. And so, we definitely want to keep all of these types of things in mind. And, part of why we are even having this conversation is because of the Disaster Preparedness Forum that will be taking place on Saturday, this Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. here in Tallahassee at the American Red Cross's facility over on, is it Easterwood?
It is 1115 Easterwood Drive.
Yes, and so it's from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is required. There are about 15 slots left. Continental breakfast and lunch is provided, but also a disaster backpack, which will have some of the things that you need for your disaster preparedness plan.
Okay.
And so we're almost at about halfway through our conversation, but I'm on with Karen Miller, the CEO of the Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, a wonderful organization here in Tallahassee that is a premier home ownership center, HUD approved, HUD housing counseling agency, NeighborWorks organization, of which I served at for a few years, and
Go ahead and tell them the secret.
and what secret?
It's not a secret, really. You all, Nicole trained me
Oh,
when I came into that job. She was my trainer. She was leaving our agency, and she stayed around to help train me. when I came to TLC. So I always appreciate that because I learned so much from her.
Well, thank you. You are kind, Miss Karen. It's my pleasure. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. So we're talking disaster preparedness. Of course, June 1st is hurricane season, marks hurricane season. But of course, we know that disaster can strike at any time, right? It can be snowstorms, tornadoes, it could be fires, it could be um, mudslides, it could be all sorts of things.
Floods.
Floods, yes.
Mhm.
So, again, we want to try to be as prepared as we possibly can. All right. So Dante said, do people know phone numbers, if phone is missing or damaged?
Um, One of the things that we will be doing is handing out a list of places where they can call. Tonight, I would tell you to go to FEMA.org, AmericanRedCross.org,
Mhm.
because they give you so much information.
Yeah.
One of the things, as people consider their plans, that they don't have to wait to get the pack together. I
Mm-hmm.
know everybody's got a cell phone,
Mm-hmm.
almost everybody. You know what? You got a camera on this cell phone that has a video.
Mm-hmm.
What you need to do is take a picture of yourself and give your date of birth.
Mm.
You can also video the inside and the outside of your home.
Mm.
Well, it doesn't matter whether it's a rental or whether or not it's a home, a standalone home, a condo. It doesn't matter. You want to be able to identify the items that you have in your home,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're insured. And insurance companies may come back later. But you got a cell phone, you could start doing that tonight.
Yeah.
And when you take a picture of yourself, take a picture of everyone that is in the household, along with them saying their dates of birth as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we don't necessarily like to talk about, but it is great preparation.
Yeah.
You already mentioned important papers,
Mm-hmm.
rental agreements,
Yeah.
mortgage papers, social security cards, birth certificates. Make sure all of that is in a waterproof and a fireproof bag if you can get one. But definitely make sure that it's in a waterproof bag, because you know that we tend to have hurricanes and tornadoes. You want to make sure, though, that's in there. Nicole mentioned medications. You're going to start hearing directives from officials saying, if your medications are low, go get your medications filled prior to this noticed event that we would have.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that's important things that you can think about, but definitely your home right now and saving it in the cloud.
Yeah. So Dante said what he was speaking of is when people don't know other people's phone numbers, when
Mm,
you are trying to let people know you are safe, we are so dependent on our phones.
absolutely. And Dante, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a good point that we'll be talking about that. We can talk about that on Saturday, because you really need to write that down. The other part is that you can say their telephone numbers and give your contact information and save it in the cloud as well.
Mm-hmm.
All of the information that you have, you can send it to someone that might not be living in the same area as you live. Like, I have relatives in Miami, I have relatives in Central Florida, I have relatives in Washington, D.C. So you may want to send it to someone that you trust
Mm-hmm.
and that it lives in a totally different area than you live in.
Yeah, I would also suggest too, Dante, with the question that you have, is maybe with those important documents that Karen just mentioned, having it in a waterproof, um, folder or what have you, make that list of phone numbers be in there as
Mhm.
well. It could
Absolutely.
be, again, relatives or a chosen family that you want someone to contact, or that you may need to contact, whose numbers that you don't remember, since we don't have paper phone books anymore.
Remember those days.
Yes. Yes. So all great ideas, especially in terms, I never thought about that, taking a picture of yourself and with your date of birth, and sending it, putting it in the cloud, or emailing it. I think that's another great idea. Um, Now, and I don't know if you all are covering this at the forum,
Okay.
but you talked about your experience post a storm, that you thought that, these windows were gonna literally explode in your home, and you having PTSD. Is there some mention of mental health that can be provided, or some coping skills that folks can utilize? Because I know I have heard of folks experiencing PTSD or high levels of anxiety after a storm, especially if another storm is in proximity to the storm that they just went through. And so I'm curious about any type of mental health counseling or support that may be discussed, maybe at the forum.
I know that there's going to be some medical, and we're going to include mental health numbers
Okay.
for persons to call,
Mm.
because it is devastating. I mean, that was a long time ago, but I still remember, and I can still visualize myself sitting at the edge of that couch.
Mhm.
So I truly do understand, and I think it's really important for people to be able to acknowledge that, just as we just talked about, there's going to be a huge discussion about whether to evacuate or not.
Mhm.
That's a mental health issue as well.
It is.
And it's very hard to leave your things behind
Mhm.
and go somewhere else. And some people saying, oh, that's just stuff. That's just
Mhm.
stuff. But it's more than that. And that's why packing and preparing is so important. Maybe it's some important pictures that you might have that
Mhm.
you haven't put on your phone yet.
Yeah.
Um, maybe it's where your high school diploma or your college diploma, just things that we don't necessarily think about in the time of a storm.
Right.
So, those are just things that we have to remember, and we know that it's important to us. Pictures of our children when they were babies and now they're grown.
Mhm.
Um, all of those are hugely important, and we don't think about them necessarily until after the storm. Well,
Right.
now these are things that we want to be prepared for.
Mhm. No, those are, again, great points. Um, you know, if you had to put it all in one bin, so
Right.
you can't put everything in there, but maybe something, some portion or
Mhm.
some piece of it. And so, again, all things that we should think about and really consider.
Nicole, I want to go back to the go packs, the backpack,
Hmm.
just to share a few things that we're putting in the backpack,
Okay.
because I want people to start thinking about what they want in theirs.
Yeah.
We're doing first aid kits,
Okay.
and there's a smaller version that you can get on Amazon,
Hmm.
and they have tweezers, scissors, they
Nice.
have antibiotic cream in it, they have bandages, they have tape,
Nice.
they have gauze in it. And so things that you might need in the time of an emergency.
Yeah.
We're doing the crank weather radios,
Okay.
and they serve as a flashlight and a charger.
Okay.
We're doing masks and goggles and whistles. You get trapped. You want
Mm,
to have something where someone can hear you.
nice.
Um, uh, the fire blanket, a fire breaks out in your kitchen. You
Mm,
grab that blanket and you throw it over the pan, and it
okay.
puts the fire out. Their emergency thermal blankets, again, it gets a little cold and you need to be warmed up,
Mm-hmm.
there's a thermal blanket. Ponchos are going to be in there. Sometimes water gets contaminated. That's one of the reasons they ask us to have so many gallons of water per person. But suppose it's 2 weeks later and
Mm-hmm.
the water is contaminated. What we did is we're providing a powder, that purification powder that you can put in 2.5 gallons of water, and
Okay.
it will purify water. So glow sticks
Mm-hmm.
trapped in the house, I can put that on the outside on the doorknob, and
Mm-hmm.
somebody can see that there's somebody inside. So those are just a few of the items that we will have in the backpack. And of course, everybody knows we need some extra clothing
Mm-hmm.
as well.
Yeah.
But just think about, and you will see a checklist that will give you a few more items that you may want to put into the bags.
No, that's good. Really good. Again, we got to get these kits together. So look, Donda is already. Donda, we're not at the end of the show, ma'am. She want to know, where do you register? So you tell me right now. I need one of these kits. Give
I've
me.
fallen in love with Donna.
All
I'm going to help Donna with something for seniors because that's my heart too, because I'm a senior.
right.
So I understand where her heart is.
Donda, we're gonna tell you in just a little bit. Just hold tight. Miss Brittany has joined us, who is also here in Tallahassee. Thank you for being here, Brittany. All right, so she already gave us a whole bunch of stuff that we need to put in our kits. All right, but these are things that are going to be given away at the event on Saturday. So that's fabulous. Listen, I love it. I love it. I love it. Now you mentioned some of the you mentioned one of the speakers that's going to kind of talk about active shooters, but who are some of the other presenters for Saturday's event?
Well, I mentioned insurance. We have Tom Patterson, who is an insurance agent with Allstate.
Okay.
And he is going to talk about how much you should have your home insured for.
Okay.
Um, uh, Kathy Bland is going to talk. Kathy is the Community Disaster Program Manager for the American Red Cross.
Okay.
And she's going to be giving us lots of information.
Nice.
Again, I talked about Brian, Kevin, and David Odom, who is the Director of Consolidated Dispatch Services. And they work together. And what they're going to do is they're going to share with you what their individual roles are and how they impact the community. And again, in them giving out information, the community adhering to the information that they're sharing with us.
Okay.
We're going to have Todd Little, who is the coordinator of urban and community forestry.
Okay.
He's with the Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services.
Okay.
So all of these folks are coming. And then with TLC, we're going to talk a little bit about those of us that have mortgages. What happens after the storm?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that's kind of how TLC got involved in this.
Okay.
After Michael, we had agencies, medical agencies from out of state calling us. And I was like, well, how did you hear about us? They said you were on the HUD website. And
Ah,
they wanted us to find housing for them because they were bringing doctors and nurses to Tallahassee to
Okay.
assist with the medical needs that were in Mexico Beach and Panama City. So we were able to pass out that information. The other thing is that banks contacted us.
Okay.
The bank said, I don't care if they have a car loan or whatever, please get this information to people that walk through your doors or call.
Nice.
So that's how we got involved initially.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. All right, Donda said, look at God. Thank you so much. All right, wonderful. LJ is here. Thank you for being here. So I'm glad that you mentioned kind of TLC's role and how you all kind of got involved because, again, sometimes after the storm, we can be so shell shocked after, whatever takes place that, we just, again, it affects our mental health and we just don't know what to do.
And,
So,
and
yeah.
you know, there are ways just being able to share resources. TLC could be the person, the agency that just passes out water to
Mm,
those that need. Refer you to places that are actually feeding folks. We know
yeah.
the Red Cross will feed. We know that some of the churches come out
Mm.
and they feed folks as well. Last year, when the tornadoes hit, we had some veterans come from Washington D.C.
Oh,
and
wow.
they set up at the old Tallahassee Mall. And I went out and I helped volunteer in fixing the plates,
Nice.
and they passed out food to the neighborhoods. And so they allowed me to bring food back to the Providence neighborhood because I was working with Providence.
Yeah.
So, you know, knowing resources and sharing that information is really important afterwards. And then knowing when FEMA is going to be a part, what the state of Florida itself is going to be doing,
Yeah.
and making sure that all of our citizens get good, accurate information.
Yeah, that's good. Again, great to know. Great to know. Great to know. I'm again really glad that TLC is involved with this because it's important, and we're talking about disasters affecting us, all aspects of our lives, and um, our shelter is one of those,
Mhm.
very important aspects of our lives. When we talk about the hierarchy of needs, food, clothing, and shelter,
Shelter.
shelter is one of those basic needs. So again, that you all are here to assist with this, I think is really, really timely and in alignment with what you all do.
Well, thank you very, very much.
Mm-hmm.
And I just got one more thing that I would like to share with everybody.
Yeah.
My partner, the American Red Cross,
Mm-hmm.
um, we hear about the Red Cross all of the time, but the Red Cross can use our help year round. And as a nonprofit, you all know the Red Cross can always use money.
Mm-hmm.
I can always use the donation of money. But as regular citizens, we can participate. Remember that big bus donating blood, especially after disasters, because you never know what the medical needs in the community are going to be. Um, summertime is coming up. Become a lifeguard or water safety instructor. If
Mm-hmm.
you have those skills, the Red Cross definitely can use them. And then, you can be a shelter volunteer during the disaster. They always need people to work at the shelters. And then you can be just what we're doing right now, a disaster preparedness volunteer.
Yeah.
And you're going to get to see how to contact the Red Cross, but it's redcross.org/volunteer today. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Again, year round, the Red Cross can use each and every one of us as able-bodied folks.
Absolutely. So consider volunteer with the Red Cross. The link is in the comments, so you can click on it. And again, they not only need money, but they need human capital in terms of like you said, passing out supplies or even donating supplies potentially. I know I've seen them doing water drives and things of that nature,
Mhm.
because those things are so desperately needed. Especially because again, disaster happens every day. It's not just a hurricane, it's not just a tornado, but it's fires, it's floods, it's all sorts of things. So definitely consider donating your time, your talent, your treasure with that organization. So a few more folks have joined us. Miss Tanisha, thank you for being here. She's here in Madison. And Miss Potter down in Miami Gardens. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and Janetta's here too. Happy belated birthday, Janetta. She had a birthday.
Yes.
And yes, thank you for being here. She's here in Tallahassee. So we are getting ready to wrap up this conversation, but I definitely, again, for those of you who are just tuning in, want you to know I'm here with Karen Miller, the CEO of Tallahassee Lenders Consortium, and we've been talking disaster preparedness. Hurricane season starts June 1st, and TLC, Tallahassee Lenders, along with the American Red Cross here in Tallahassee, are hosting a disaster preparedness forum for community leaders Saturday, May 31st, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Registration is free. The event is free, but registration is required. There are about 15 spots open. Continental breakfast is served, lunch is served, and a disaster backpack will be available to all of the attendees who stay for the entire time. So this is a great opportunity to get ready, get ready, get ready. I asked folks, for those of you who are just tuning in, I asked the viewers who already had a plan together. Nobody did, including me. Nor do I have my Go Kit together, but I'm challenging us all to have our Go Kits together by June 15th. So you can go to the event on Saturday, get a jump start on it. We're going to tell you how you can register. You could get a jump start on the rest of us who may not be able to attend on Saturday, because you'll get the list and that sort of thing. And Karen, I'm going to solicit this checklist from you so that I can share this with the viewers and they can get going on putting their kits together.
I'll be happy to share that checklist with
All
you.
right. So you all be sure to look out for that checklist on Conversations with Nicole social on Facebook and on my personal Instagram, so that you all can get your Go Kits together, your disaster backpacks together, and be prepared for any of the disasters that may come our way. So, Karen, as we get ready to wrap up, I want to give you an opportunity to give some closing remarks and tell folks how they can connect with you, which is really how they'll be able to register for this upcoming disaster preparedness forum.
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank you, Nicole, for having us tonight. I'm excited. I always get excited about being on your show. The other part is that I'd like to say a special thanks to Sharon Caraway, who's the executive director of the American Red Cross, for partnering with Tallahassee Lenders Consortium. And just everyone know, it's always important to be prepared as possible. You'll never be totally prepared for any type of disaster. So to be prepared as much as possible is all that we can do. If you'd like to be in contact with me and you're interested in attending on May 31st, you can reach me at kmiller@Tallahassee, spelled all the way out, lenders.org. Or you can call me at 850-756-7726. That's my direct line to my office. And again, the forum is Know the Risk, Make Your Plan. And it's May 31st at the American Red Cross at 1115 Easterwood Drive. And I am just excited about the opportunity to share information with the general public. And just know 15 slots left. And just give me a call, even if you're a member of the public and not necessarily a neighborhood leader. We might be able to slip you in. Thank you so much.
I love it. All right. So there you have it. That's how you can get connected, and that's how you can participate. I did have the flyer I wanted to put up. Let me see if my skills will let me do that. Boom. Okay. So that's the flyer. Here, I'm gonna remove real quick. That's the flyer. Save the date. Actually, it's this coming Saturday. So May 31st, 8 to 3, American Red Cross, 1115 Easterwood Drive. Again, you can call Karen directly, or you can email her your interest in participating in the Preparedness Forum that's taking place this coming Saturday. So I hope you all are up for the challenge to have our kids together by June 15th. And we'll do what you have to do to make that happen. All right. I see folks giving Janetta birthday wishes. Wonderful. We so nice on here on Conversations.
Yes.
Well, my viewers are so kind. Tracy Gole, great information. Thank you, Karen. I hope y'all have benefited from this in some way. If you have, let us know in the comments. And again, I hope you all will work on getting these kits together because we got to do it. We got to have it. All right. So let's spend some time putting that together every day. Spend a little, maybe 15, 20 minutes putting the stuff together that you need, either that, some clothes, some, water or whatever the case may be. Just put it together, get your kit together, and let's make it happen. All right. Karen, thank you so much for, again, great information and for collaborating with the American Red Cross to put this out in the community because we really need it. We really need it. I can't even express enough how much we need it. We really need it. My mom is saying thank you.
Tell her thank you. She's always on, and I love it.
She is. We're gonna have to get her a checklist so she can get working on her kit. All right, LJ, thank you so much. Share the link so folks can watch. Also share the flyer. All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, Ron DeLeon Hicks, great job, Karen.
Thank you.
Nice. We appreciate you tuning in. I also want to mention for those of you who may be new to the platform, Conversations with Nicole is live here on Mondays and Wednesdays at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, focused primarily on mental health and wellness in Black and Brown communities. But this is, I think, definitely a big part of it. As I stated earlier, shelter is part of that foundational hierarchy of needs. And when we're talking about disaster preparedness, yes, we want our physical bodies to be safe, and we want our shelter to be safe as well. And so it can cause a lot of mental turmoil and PTSD, as was mentioned earlier. So we want to definitely make sure we are prepared. But again, we are here Mondays and Wednesdays, and I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and check us out. Come back. If this is your first time, come back and check us out. We really are really here to assist and inform the community. All right, Dante, much needed information as always. Thank you, Dante. Appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, Dante will be on very soon. All right, Donda, this show was very informative. Thank you, Donda. Thank you. Y'all, please share this also. Share this link with others. LJ said they shared. But yeah, share this with somebody that you think can benefit from it. And let's take care of ourselves. Let's get prepared for these disasters. Because again, they happen. It seems like they're happening more and more.
Absolutely.
More and more. And so, if you are available this coming Saturday, definitely reach out to Karen and get registered and get the information that you need. Okay, please give the number again to register if you don't mind, Karen.
No, I don't mind. It's 850-756-7726.
Okay, I'm gonna put that up in just one moment. Give me one moment. 850
7
uh-huh
756 7726.
7726. Got it. All right. I will put it on the scrolling banner at the bottom again. 756-7726. All right. So again, here in Tallahassee, you can call or email to express your interest in registering for the Disaster Preparedness Forum taking place this Saturday at the Red Cross, 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. This coming Saturday, May 31st. All right. All right, very good. Well, listen, y'all, please be safe. Continue to enjoy the rest of this evening. Wednesday show, I actually have three recent graduates of Florida A&M. I think it was healthcare administration is their majors, but they're going to be talking about the young adults and mental health. So,
Wow.
yeah, it should be a interesting conversation. So I have three recent FAMU. They actually all three of them got their master's degrees. So yeah, it should be an interesting dialogue. So anyway, have a great rest of the evening, and we will see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.